Good day, Internet. This week, I'm going to work on this Model A Ford, and I'm probably not going to get around to installing these wishbones. Check it out. All right, guys. So today, rather than having a specific plan or a how-to video, we're just gonna do kind of a mad thrash on the Roadster. Now that I have the body on the chassis, I have access to get the last of my rivets in place at the front and mid quarter panel braces. That'll allow me to fold the bottom of the quarter panels up into the subframe. I've also got a couple of rivets that I didn't realize are supposed to go through the quarter panel into the subframe that I missed, so I'm going to get to those. And probably won't get to installing my door braces just because I haven't painted them yet. But if we have time, might start on the bones. So I'll set the camera up and get to work, let you guys kind of follow along. All right, so let me show you guys what I have going on. There's supposed to be a pair of rivets here that go through the quarter panel and into the subrail cross channel. The subrail and the subrail cross channel. As you can see, there are rivets in place, but they only go through the outer subrail and into the cross channel. They don't go through the body. That's because there was nothing left of my quarter panels in that area, and so I had no witness marks, and I did not know. So as you can see, I screwed up. So the only way to get to these is going to be with a grinder to get in there and grind the peened overhead off of the rivet, and then push them through, and then I guess I'm gonna have to jack the body up off the frame slightly, pinch the quarter panel to the subrail and drill a hole, and then put new rivets in place. So stay tuned. All right, so to get access to these rivets, I've actually had to hork the body up onto the cross member kind of at an angle so that I can get in there with a grinder to grind the rivet heads off. Throwing a couple of wooden blocks in place to make sure it can't shift around and crush me, and we'll get those off. right, so now my rivets are out of the way. Got a little off center on that one hole, but that's okay because I don't think I'm gonna put rivets back in this. I think what I'm gonna do is use my little button head Allens from before. So let me throw a clamp on this and I'll show you a trick for marking the holes on the outside of the panel. All right, so with my clamp in place, what I can do now, there's like no access here at all. What I can do now is I can get my center punch in place, center it in the hole. I'm not gonna do this on camera because I want it to be perfect. And then I can punch it. And then I'll show you from the outside what it'll look like. All right, so with a few solid punches from the inside, you get a little indentation that shows through to the outside. So all I gotta do is take and set my center punch in the center of that indentation and mark my hole and drill. All right, so I still have to go to the hardware store and get some more of these button head Allens, but that panel is secure. And everything is tied together nicely. Now I can start working on this edge, which just folds up into the subrail. And then I can set the last of my rivets and get my body mounts in place. All right, so my camera battery died. So I ran to the hardware store and I got the little alloy button head Allen bolts that are gonna secure my quarter panels to the subrails. While I was waiting for the camera to charge, I went ahead and washed the wheels and tires that are going on this thing. They probably looked old, original in the last video, but they're new and now they're clean. So I'm gonna show you guys how I take these black oxide bolts and I prep them for paint. Take you over to the grinder. All right, so grab the nut and a vice grip. Give like, a half turn on the bolt. Don't forget your safety glasses. Go over your wire wheel. Just like that. Take the black oxide off. I give them a little wipe down with brake clean to make sure they're clean, ready for paint, and then we throw them in. All right, so now we're going to replace our little hex head bolts with these alloy button heads, which I'm going to eventually go back in with some Bondo and fill in the hex. And then from the outside of the car, they'll look like rivets. Alright, so there you have it from the outside, front and rear. And then the rolled edge of the quarter panel. And my alloy mechanical interference lock nuts and hardened washers on the back side. Plenty strong for an attachment. So now I just have to shift the body over to the other side and do it. All right, so as you guys can see, I've got the wheels back on the car and the car set back on the ground. I wanted to have the chassis kind of firmly planted on the ground before I go throw these last rivets in. So let's get that done real quick. All right, so what you guys are gonna see is a 3-part process. Where there's a cleco involved, I'll remove the cleco. Then I'll chamfer the back side of the hole because most of these were just drilled through and clecoed. And I want to clean it up before I throw a rivet in there. Then you'll see me place the rivet in the hole, buck the rivet, and then go around from underneath and pound the rivet home. So I'm going to just do all of these real fast, and you guys will see it in 6 times speed. All right, so my rivet gun attachment isn't long enough to get up into the subrail. It actually hits the quarter panel, the spring hits the quarter panel before the rivet attachment hits the bottom of the rivet. I feel like I'm gonna mess up the quarter panel if I try to do this, so this is gonna have to be button head Allens on this cross brace too. The reason to use rivets over button head Allens is because rivets are like a few cents a piece. One of these with a hardened mechanical interference nut and a hardened washer is about $1.50 a piece. So it's a very expensive way to put the car together. I'm not just doing the rivet thing to be true to form. I'm doing it to save some money too. Sorry, that doesn't zoom in. Anyway. So here we go. All right, and there we have it. I think these doors are going to close nice. They line up really well. Shaking the quarter panel moves the whole car. I think it's pretty good. So the wishbones are in my hands and not on the car. Ran out of time this week, but make sure you come back next week, because I think I'll be able to get the wishbones in and get the body secured to the chassis, which is a big step that needs to happen before I can set the motor and transmission in, and you don't want to miss that. Anyway, thank you again so much for watching this week. Please hit that like button, comment to let me know what you want to see in future videos, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. That really helps me out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week.